Hello everyone and welcome to some NASCAR Heat 5 Custom Championship Season Mode. Yeah, I decided that instead of looking at the career mode, which I've done before in NASCAR Heat 3 and Heat 4 in my own time, I decided this time I would just go straight into the Custom Championship Season, primarily because when I do the career mode, I find myself usually a bit burnt out by the time I actually get to the Cup Series, whereas here we can just skip straight to the Cup Series, do whatever races we want, and in fact, we can actually get rid of the playoffs. So yes, if you look at the screen right now, you can see that there is no playoffs in this custom championship season. I've gone through and made it 30 races. I've gotten rid of a lot of the duplicates. There are only a few marquee duplicates in there. So we have 2 Bristol races. We have 2, I think, Martinsville races, 2 Phoenix races, and like 2 Daytona races. And like a second Talladega race. I got rid of a lot of the duplicates for things like Pocono and Michigan and tracks that honestly shouldn't have more than one date, just to try and keep the season more interesting as a whole. So this is the season that we are going to be going with. It is 30 races, no playoffs, so every race does matter. You can't just get your way to the final 10 races and then spark off. You have to be really good from the get-go if you really want a chance to win. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. And you know what? I do have a custom driver already created. So we're going to pick myself right here. So the lore behind us right here is that I'm going to be the second addition to Richard Petty Motorsports. I didn't want to, replace Bubba Wallace in the 43. I wanted to join alongside him. So this is the car we're going to be using. Ignore the avatar on the side. He's wearing, teal and gray, which doesn't match this whatsoever, but it's fine. We're just going to go ahead and choose that there, and we're going to go ahead and jump right into the first race. So we're going to go to these settings here, and what we're actually going to do is we're going to do a 13% race length, and I'll go through and change some of these other settings, I'm sure, also, just to make sure they're all up to date, because apparently they don't match whatever I had for the other race modes. I will go through and change all this, but we're going to be doing 13%, primarily because we're not doing stages either, and if we did stages, we'd have to make the race probably 50% or longer, otherwise the stages become obnoxiously long, something like 8 laps at some tracks. So I will go through here real quick, change all the settings, and then get right back to you guys. Okay, so I have gone ahead and just looked over all the settings here, made sure they're all as I wanted them. So we are going to be doing maximum difficulty just because I don't want it to be too easy. And in fact, considering I haven't played a NASCAR Heat game in about a year, this could just mean that we're going to do miserably. But you know what? At least then it's a challenge, and we're not just going to win, 20 races in a season. Full damage. So, we can't just smash into walls, break our fenders and everything, and just get away with it without having to pay for any damage. 13%, like I said, because I don't want it to be too long. 2 times normal wear, and then I have less wear for player tire wear, and that is because in the few races I've done so far, just in my own time as I've gotten the game, if I put this on normal wear or more wear even, my tires seem to disintegrate compared to the AI, and that also seemed to be the case in previous NASCAR Heat games, so I didn't want to really deal with that, considering I could not go even half the distance as some of the AI were going. So we're going to leave that there. Same with more grip. The way that physics work in this game, I think more grip's a better option than just normal or less grip, because on normal and especially on less grip, your car just kind of slides around a lot and it becomes completely uncontrollable. And I am playing this on an Xbox One controller on PC, so I'm not exactly using a steering wheel or anything to make it very smooth. We're going to stick with this for now. I might change in the future if it seems a bit too easy, but I think this is a good setting to start off with. We have relaxed yellows here, and that is because if the AI blows an engine or something, we do not want the caution to come up, because that does happen somewhat frequently and usually tends to, completely screw up any kind of a pit road strategy you have going on, or it can always cause like a green light checkered, and it can completely destroy whatever kind of race you already had going on before that. Single race stage, because stage points make no sense in this scenario. They kind of do, but again, at 13%, we definitely don't want stages, because some stages would only be like 5 or 6 laps at some tracks. If I was doing like a 50% playthrough for all the race lengths, I would probably consider putting this on. But for now, I think it's good to keep it off. And then quick qualifying. Honestly, I might not even be qualifying for most of these races, just because qualifying in this game doesn't really seem to match up with the race pace all that well. And then if we go over to the driving settings, I do have the skill range on the AI for wide. That should really just mean that the cars that are slower should be a lot slower, and the cars that are faster should be much faster. So it should be more similar to what we actually see in real life, as opposed to, the slowest car in the field being about 0.2 off the leader. They should actually be off by quite a margin. I have them on more stable, more skill, things like that. That's just because, again, I am playing on a controller, and I want to make sure that if I slightly nudge them, we're not going to both be sent off to the Shadow Realm, just because, the physics in this game aren't necessarily that easy. Expanded for the starting spread, that's my personal preference. I don't think there's any, anything that's better here, but between normal, compressed, and expanded, I just like doing this because I think it seems a bit more realistic, and everybody's not on each other's bumpers right from the get-go. And then everything else I left at normal, particularly because I don't want the AI to blow their engine every 20 laps, especially like the top tier drivers that I might be competing for a championship against. Same for tire wear, fuel consumption, that should be ideally about equal to what I'm having now. Impact forces is on low, again, using a controller. I don't want them to slightly nudge me in the corner and for me to not be able to save the car. And then draft partners I do have enabled. I don't really know how much this will come into play. I might disable this later in the future depending on how annoying it gets. But these are the settings we're going to rock with for the start of the season. I also noticed something here at the bottom that says race and competition mode. I have no idea what that is, so I'm not going to click it for now, but you can feel free to tell me down in the comments below if maybe I made a mistake and maybe that is something I should have tried. I feel like that's not the most user-friendly way to go, but who knows, maybe it's actually something really awesome. But we're going to go ahead and get started with the Daytona 500 to kick off this series. So okay, we're going to go ahead and get started here with qualifying. I am going to qualify in this race. I feel like it's going to be a completely null point. I'm pretty sure we're going to get last place, assuming nothing's changed from NASCAR Heat 4, where there was really no point in qualifying most of the time, especially on a super speedway, because it seemed like the cars that you were qualifying against effectively had a draft somehow, even though this is supposed to be single car qualifying, but you yourself would not. So we'll check back in a minute and see how that actually turns out. And coming to the line the second time, 46.5, 39th place. Hey, you know what? It's not last place, but it may as well be. That's still the final row. And we're alongside Kurt Busch and Martin Truex. What on earth happened here? Why are you two back here? Okay, so coming to the green flag, we have some interesting drivers back here with us. So you know what? We have some decent drivers to work with, try to make our way towards the front. We have 26 laps to do so. And we'll see if hopefully we don't lose the draft right off the bat, because that would end our chances right away. Because without a caution, there's no way you're really making your ground up after that. And we kind of got slowed up a little bit by Reddick there at the start. All right, let's hope that we don't lose him immediately. We're not getting off to a great start here. I feel like that's the thing in a lot of these NASCAR Heat games, and just NASCAR games in general. The default gearing they give you, especially on super speedways, is very dangerous if you're starting towards the back, because you get to speed a lot slower than everybody else. Who's behind me, actually? Chad Fincham. Okay, you're probably not going to be of much help to me. But let's see if we can at least maintain contact with the pack. And then if I have to over the season, if everything starts going downhill completely, I might lower the settings a little bit. We're playing at max difficulty, and I haven't really played NASCAR Heat in a while. There's a chance I'm just not good enough to handle it, but who knows? It could just be the super speedway. Once we get up there in the pack, it's basically game for anybody. So we'll just stay consistent. Hopefully we don't hit anything, and we can go 22 laps on fuel. So there will be one mandatory pit stop in this race. And if there's any caution, then that'll basically nullify that. You don't have to do any kind of green flag stuff, which I'm kind of hoping we avoid because, okay, getting some contact there with David Reagan. Kind of hoping to avoid that because I'm not sure if I believe in myself to actually make it on a pit road in a timely manner. Okay, Reddick got a little bit sideways there, not exactly comforting. I would like to have other cars behind me to actually, push me, because Chad Fincham's kind of just hanging out. He's just glad to be here. All right, so we actually have a run here on the bottom side now. We're about to go 3 wide. As long as I'm not in the middle, I feel like I'm okay. As of NASCAR Heat 4, where they added the stability options, I feel like you can survive in the middle. I'd still prefer not to be there just because you kind of ping-pong back and forth off of all the other cars, and then you're just at the mercy of whether or not everybody else, wants to stop hitting you or not. Okay, we lost a bit of speed down there for no reason. I don't know if that was, side force off of Kurt Busch there. What happened? But we got a bit of a push from, I think that was Cole Custer, actually, back there. Bobby Carter, I have no idea who that is. I'm pretty sure they're not real. Oh my god, there's some contact going on in the pack there. Thanks a lot, Christopher Bell. Okay, managed to keep that in line. That was not comforting in the slightest, but we are in the top 30 now. Let's see if we can get below Reddick here. Make our way towards the front. I will honestly be pretty shocked if there's not a caution in this race, and I'll be even more shocked if it's not myself that causes it. Okay, Christopher Bell just kind of... Yeah, he actually damaged the back of my car. That's how hard he hit me there. Okay, well, that might actually hurt us because aero is a big thing in this game, especially with the non-reduced drag that I have. So 99% aero, it's not the end of the world, but if you get down to like 98, 97, you're basically done for because you're going to be down a lot on the straightaways. Okay, you know what? I didn't actually want to get to the side of Harvick here. I would like to fall back in line if at all possible. Probably not. Maybe he'll come down in front of us. Okay, yeah, I'll let you back in. We have Daniel Suarez as our draft partner, as well as Harvick in the 4. I've never really used the draft partner features, mainly because I didn't really play a whole lot of NASCAR Heat 4. I played a significant amount of NASCAR Heat 3. I actually did a league on PC for that for a whole year. And then in NASCAR Heat 4, that kind of fell apart, so I didn't really, participate in that. But I figured I'd get back in NASCAR Heat 5. I know it's not a big change from NASCAR Heat 4, but I figured, at least give it a shot, and as long as it's not terrible, ideally we can hope for NASCAR Heat 6 to be the big step up that we're all waiting for. And if it's not, then, well, the series might just be dead. But we're not going to worry about that just now because they still got about a year to worry about that. As Harvick wants to go to the outside, you know what? I'm not sure I can follow you up there. That seems like a bad idea. So we're going to go with iRacing legend, Timmy Hill. NASCAR race winner in iRacing, Timmy Hill, to be exact. Alongside Kenseth, who has replaced He Who Shall Not Be Named in the 42. Okay, we've already made our way like halfway up the field. We're on lap 7. Looking pretty good. Keselowski's back here. That's actually unusual. And it looks like there's actually a breakaway starting at the front, which is, it's pretty reasonable. It depends on like what package they're using in the game. These spoilers look very low, kind of. They look low, but I think it's because the see-through portion at the top is not really that easy to see in the game, unfortunately. But I don't know if the game actually matches the packages up to what they actually use in real life or not. But, it looks decent enough. We're not in, like, 4 wide packs like we had been in previous games. So at least it's more controllable. All right, we're up here with 7-time champion Jimmy Johnson and Chase Elliott, who has not really any help behind him. But he's stuck to the back of the 37 a little bit. Ooh, okay. Looks like a busher got a bit wide there. So we're kind of just, breezing along here. Once we get towards the front is when it's going to be a lot harder to actually pass some of these cars. But for now, I think as long as you stick to the inside, you stick to a lane, as soon as any other car checks up, you can kind of just take advantage of it. And for some reason, I don't know what it is. It feels like in some parts of the track, my car just randomly loses speed. I don't know if there's some assist on that I wasn't paying attention to that's causing that, but I certainly hope not. And hopefully it doesn't cost me the race or anything. Ooh, we got a big run right there, and then the 48 gets a bit sideways. Ooh, is that going to be a black flag? I think I technically passed him on the inside there, but you know what? I was avoiding a wreck because Jimmy tried to push up there, kind of made it 4 wide. Technically, I gave the position back. I'll accept that. Right, we got a big run right here. We're going to get off the gas a little bit because I don't want to ram into the back of the 10 up here just because I don't want to cause any more aero damage. I'm probably not going to bother fixing the rear end damage we have here because an extra second on pit road could be the difference between, maintaining contact with the pack or not. And I'm pretty sure that Corey LaJoie is currently leading the race. That is something. That is something that I've noticed about a lot of the NASCAR Heat games, especially on the restrictor plate tracks. It's basically just, flip a coin, or not really a coin, I guess, because there's 40 drivers, but, roll a 40-sided die, and whatever number it lands on is the driver that wins, because it doesn't actually matter if they're good or not, or if they're in a consistently fast car. Okay, Logano kind of wants to go to the middle line here. We could get away with that now. There's not a whole lot of cars up here. We have spread out quite a bit. But I don't really want to give up the bottom lane because that's just asking for something bad to happen. Also, our last lap was our fastest lap of the race so far at a 44.3. Not bad. We haven't slowed down at all. In fact, we should be speeding up if anything because there's less traffic to deal with up here. So we can kind of just, take our runs as we get them. So we got Alex Bowman and Reki Spinhouse Jr. up here alongside. He's going to try and calm down. We're not going to let him. And got off the gas a bit too much there, so he's going to get another run alongside us. Okay, Alex Bowman, you know what? I don't know if I trust this guy. He kind of almost caused the issue with Jimmy Johnson earlier, and now he's really getting squirrely whenever I get to the back of his bumper. I don't like this. You gotta keep it under control, Bowman. We can't win if we both die before we get there. What is my temperature at right now? My temperature is 239 oil temp. That, I don't know if that's bad. Honestly, I don't know what they run the oil temps up to in real life. It's not complaining about anything, so I think it's fine, but we've kind of just been, sucked up to the back of a rear bumper for the last, 5 laps straight. So hopefully it stays good until the end, because we do have the actual full damage on, so as soon as you damage your engine, you're kind of just done for. That being said, you can go and fix it in the pits. You will lose a ton of time if it's not under caution, and even then you're just going to lose a lot of track position. So without a caution, you'd basically just be out of the race. It really seems like we've stalled out a little bit here. We do have Logano now giving us a push, But especially because Bowman wants to stick to the outside, it's making it kind of hard for us to get a run on anybody else ahead of us. So I might just have to go for the pass now if we want any chance of actually getting up there. We are going to probably have to make a green flag pit stop. I don't really like being down here because I don't have any draft from the front of me. I am going to rely on Logano to give us a shove here. Also, Ross Chastain overdriving his equipment up here in 9th place. We are potentially looking at a very interesting finish here. But I feel like that's usually the case in these NASCAR Heat games where, especially in the Daytona 500, it's basically anybody's win. It just kind of depends how the game felt like, you know, rolling the dice that day. Okay, so Logano actually gave us a really good push there, but we got a bit tight as a result. Almost got up into Bowman, so I had to let off the gas just slightly, and just like that, he's still trying to maintain his position. This is not great for us, and I actually screwed up there. Now Logano's going to get to our inside. Now everybody's going to come and try and freight train us, so we might have to drop it back to the inside. The 18's going to give us a push. Very kind of him to do so. We're going to have to try and make some kind of move here because we've kind of been stalled out right outside of the top 10 for the last, 5 or 6 laps. Okay, so Bowman has finally gone to the inside, so we're actually able to get past Ross Chastain. As long as he doesn't get some kind of crazy run on the outside here with Logano, we should be good. We do have to make some ground up on the top 7 or so cars, which have that small little breakaway. It's not too bad, and they are mostly single file. But we're going to have to see. Bowman keeps getting a bit squirrely into these corners. I don't really like this. Also, I'm just now noticing that we're basically a pack of, well, we were, until Keselowski got around Logano, a pack of like 4 consecutive cars that were double numbers. So the 88, the 77, the 44, and the 22. Just thought that was something pretty interesting to point out. Bowman has once again gone to the outside, so we're just going to stick with him for now. I feel like we're starting to lose sight of this pack up here, though. There's no way we're going to get up there without some kind of serious push from behind. Or just a really good pit road entry, which again, I do not believe that I can do. And I also need to start considering a strategy for the pit stop, so we don't need a lot of fuel. And we don't need tires at all, to be honest. Tires really don't mean anything in this game on the super speedways, as far as I'm aware. As long as it's above 0%, you're good to go. Basically, as long as, the tire is on your car, it does not matter if it's at 2% or at 100. It's going to handle exactly the same, unlike a lot of the other speedways where it is very important, and once it gets below 50%, it's gonna handle absolutely miserably. Okay, so Bowman left the door open, so we're gonna try and get on the back of the burrito down here, and we do clear the pass on Bowman. Is Keselowski gonna give us a push or not? He is. Thank you, best friend Brad from Wreckfest. And for anybody that is interested about the Wreckfest series, I do plan on bringing it back at some point. It does just take a lot of time to go through and manually calculate all the points and whatnot. But there are only a few episodes left in that season, so I do plan on at the very least completing that season in the future. But for now, I just figured I'd give this game a shot, just because this game handles all of the points and everything for you, so it's a lot easier to just play, have fun, and create content for all you guys. Okay, so we got a push from Brad there. Unfortunately, even if we pass De Benedetto, I don't think there's no way we're catching this top group of 7 here. The race is basically between them barring a caution coming out, or us getting some miraculous push, or us somehow getting a really good entry to pit road. I don't believe in the pit road entry happening for me, just because I'm usually miserable at those. But we will see in the next few laps if that is the case. There's also the chance that somebody's going to make it to the end of the race without pitting. I feel like I might have chosen the very worst scenario for that, where if one of the AI chose to save some gas, which they probably could have, I feel like the AI are generally better at that than human drivers, they could complete the race without pitting, in which case I would probably get last place. I'm hoping that's not what's going to happen here, but you know what, if it happens, it happens. We'll deal with it, move on to the next race. Daytona is kind of a throwaway anyways. If you don't win, nobody really cares. But that being said, this is a season where every race does matter because there is no playoff. So you're already, behind it from the start. You don't want that to be the case. So we only have 3 laps of fuel left. There are 5 laps left in the race. At this point, I'm starting to feel like the AI will not have to pit, but I'm going to wait until this thing's almost run dry, because I have to give a chance for the yellow flag to come out, because if it doesn't, there's a chance our race will just be over, and that will be unfortunate if somehow every AI driver manages to save 2 laps of fuel, but I didn't. Okay, never mind. I spoke too soon. I have been saved. Somebody is pitting, so I feel like maybe everybody will have to pit. I don't know if I want to pit this lap or next lap. I think I'm going to pit next lap, as long as we still have a push. We can't tell if Brad's pitting or not. He is not. Only a couple cars are pitting this lap, so I feel like most cars are going to pit next lap. I'm going to try and use them as a reference, because I'm really bad at getting on pit road quickly, and I don't want to speed, because speeding at this point guarantees basically a last place finish because you will lose track of the draft. So, you know, if I fall down a few positions but maintain with the pack, I think that's an okay thing to do. All right, Brad is still on our tail. I do have to be careful about that. I don't want him to shove us off into the infield when we try and come down pit road here. And you know what? I think we have gained a little bit of time on this pack. Yeah, we gained like a third of a second, which, I mean, that's something. But that's not going to get us anywhere. Kozlowski, okay. Brad's just shoved us up the track. I think he's coming pit. Okay, he is. So we're going to come down. We're just going to follow these guys down to third gear. Oh gosh, that was a big bump. 55. Okay, we did it. We only need half a can of fuel. We don't need any tires. Nope. No repairs or anything. 3.2 second pit stop. And we do actually come out ahead of most of those drivers. Now, the bad thing here is that I'm pretty sure McDowell might just win the race because this car is garbage at getting up to speed, as I mentioned at the beginning. So, you know, we're just going to block like our left depends on it. And, okay, there goes Ryan Newman. I'm pretty sure he pit last time around. And I might have just cost Blaney a lot of spots. Who knows? As soon as we get down the backstretch, we should be okay. But this car does take like an entire lap to get up to pace here. Unfortunately, maybe I should have messed with the gearing ratios or something. But, okay, it looks like we're good. What position are we actually in? We're in 12th, but there are still some cars on pit road. I might have just granted McDowell the race win. And that'll be something. We do have Eric Jones and Ryan Blaney both on us. Eric Jones has won on track, on plate tracks multiple times. Blaney has also won on plate tracks. Very good. Ryan Newman, he's got a lot of stories to say about plate tracks. Michael McDowell, not exactly, but you know what? That might not matter after today. We are up into third place somehow. Can we get up to Newman? Can we actually get Newman up to McDowell? We only have a lap and a half to go. I don't know if this is going to happen. How far back are we? 1.5? This is not going to happen. We're going to give it a shot here, but I don't want to get in the back of Newman too hard. We're going to let off the gas just a little bit. 1.5 laps to go. 1.3 back from the leader. I mean, I don't want to say we can't do it, but I feel like we're going to need another lap to do it. So, unfortunately, this is going to be a pretty lackluster end, unless there's a caution. Okay, it's too late now. But, 44.5, so not an amazing lap either. Who's behind me? Okay, Alex Bowman. Hey, you know what? He kind of came up through the field with us, at least through the top 10. We're not going to get there. McDowell's still a second ahead. One more lap, and we could have possibly done it. I don't know if I could have won, but I could have probably pushed Newman up there. But it looks like we're going to be just a tad short, and that's just because of the way pit stops work in this game. I kind of did block a lot of the field, so Newman might have been right alongside McDowell before that happened, and then probably got slowed up by the little pack that came up behind me. But Michael McDowell, of all people, is going to win the Daytona 500. And Ryan Newman, once again, so close yet so far, second place. We're going to bring it home in third position. So looking at the race results, we can see that, yes, Michael McDowell wins the race. Ryan Newman second. I'm in third. Bowman Hamlin. Corey LaJoie falls down to sixth place. What a heartbreaker for that dude. Seventh place, Kyle Busch, Troy Logano, Eric Jones, and then Ryan Blaney, I can read his name, finishes in 10th place. Who got the short end of the stick here? Last place is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Well, he probably wrecked. Chase Elliott, unfortunate. Matt Kenseth, Christopher Bell, Kurt Busch. We got a lot of really big names back here that are going to have Kevin Harvick also in 30th position. Going to have a hard time because they can't rely on just winning a race to actually get their way into the playoffs because there is none. They have to make up the 40 points they've already lost right off the get-go. And so, of course, the points basically match that to a T. There's no playoff points, anything like that. So it's exactly as the standings were at the end of the race. So we had the fastest lap with a 44.3, not bad. Corey LaJoie led the most laps. He led 9 laps. He led a third of the race, so very good on his part. Went from 38th to 3rd, biggest mover of the race. And then Chase Elliott started 10th, finished 39th. What a heartbreak for that guy. And I think that's all the things they have on here. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and move on. And so that will wrap it up for this first episode. I hope you all did enjoy. If you've made it this far in the video, despite how long it is, I have no idea how long this will actually be after I edit it, then I do appreciate it. I hope you guys did enjoy. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing. It would let me know that you like seeing this type of content and you would like to see more. And yeah, we're going to be heading to Atlanta in the next race before moving over to the West Coast Swing afterwards. So you know what? If you're interested in that, feel free to check it out. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. I'll see you all in the next one.